This is the official podcast of the G20 Interfaith Forum, where we discuss the key events, the goals, and the focus of the organization. Welcome to another episode of the G20 Interfaith Forum podcast. My name is Stuart Bird. I'm the host for today, and I'm joined here by Sandile Makasi. Sandile, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stuart. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm excited to talk with you today because you have a very important and unique role right now with the G20 Interfaith Forum. You are a member of the local organizing committee there in South Africa, which is where the IF20 is holding meetings this year. And so I'm excited to hear more about your perspective. First, I want to help the listeners understand who you are. I know you have a background of business and that you did schooling, and then you worked at some companies, and then now you work for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Could you just explain right now your role in the church?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I'm the area communication and publishing director for the Africa South area. So what that is it's the southern say Southern Africa. That's the area I cover for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Wonderful. Okay. Um, and I know that your work has leads you to meet with people and to make connections and build bridges, which is what we're all about here in the IF20. I would like to hear your insight of what led you to work for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I know you haven't always worked there, so what made you pivot and make that decision?
Yeah, so it was a surprise to me as well when I moved to the church. I was actually working for a bank. I was working for a bank, and I got a call one day, and it was from the human resources department of the church, and they said they heard about me, and they were wondering if I was interested to interview for a position. And so that's how I got to work for the church the first time. And I worked for the church for 7 years, and then I was asked by a friend to open a new business or open a branch of his business in South Africa, and I did that for 2 years, and then I just felt there was a almost like a magnetic pull for me to come work for the church again. And it coincided with the formation of a new communication department. So I jumped right in, and it's been an incredible 4.5 years.
It's amazing to hear how you have a background in banking and these different roles in business organizations, and that now it sounds like you're able to apply that in your work for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and helping the church expand its connection and its network.
Yeah, it's amazing to be part of that. My degree is in organizational psychology, so I've studied about people. I've done a lot of courses around social sciences. So I love people. I love connecting. I love collaborating with people, and I love to make a difference in the world. So I'm in the best place to be to do that.
Yeah, you really are, and especially now as you are helping on the local organizing committee of the IF20. If you could tell the story of how you got involved with IF20 and what led you to be a part
Mhm.
of the organization.
Yeah, so for the last 4 years, I've been, exposed or seen some of the interfaith work, the global interfaith work, religious freedom work with Professor Cole Durham, and I've interacted with him in various conferences. And in the last couple of years, I was informed that the G20 is going to be in South Africa, and as part of that, there'll be this a big interfaith forum, a G20 interfaith forum event in South Africa. And so last year, when I was in Utah, when I was attending the I-Class Center, Center of Law and Religion at BYU, I met with Professor Cole, and he said, "Hey, we coming to South Africa. You're one of the few people I know there." And he asked if I'll be interested to be part of the planning committee. I said, "Of course, I would love to. It's my country and I love it, and I'm grateful to be able to serve." So it's been an honor for me to be part of this local organizing committee.
That's so cool to me that because you've been going to conferences and because you had met Professor Cole Durham, who's the president of the organization, because you had met him in different spheres and different conferences, then now you're able to work with him. I think it's kind of a lesson to me and to our listeners that if you want to be more involved, maybe just first step is to show up to these events that happen in your community, meet the kind of people that in the future you will be able to collaborate to make a difference. So now you're on the local organizing committee. If you could explain what does the committee do? What's the purpose of that committee in terms of the organization?
Okay, yeah. So the local organizing committee is almost like a bridge between, the IF20 advisory council and the executive committee globally to the local country and the G20 presidency. So we play a role in kind of coordinating all the stakeholder relations, outreach. We coordinate planning and plan events that do happen where we meet with different players, different people in the interfaith space, and it's we basically are in the business of connecting people and also listening to the voice of the people in the interfaith community, the interreligious community. So it's great. I've loved, learning. For example, we had an event a few months ago in Pretoria where we had, over 100 different, religious leaders, academics, people of business, and we were hearing them, look at the themes of the South Africa G20 presidency. It was so fascinating to learn and to see how they see things, how they perceive the G20 is going to do for this country and the world.
Wow. I'm curious to hear what are some of those outcomes that were predicted at the conference and that you think like what are some things that you see coming out of having the IF20 and the G20 in South Africa this year?
Well, what surprised me first is, I mean, I didn't really, I didn't know what will happen, but as I attended the meeting, I realized a lot of the matters that were raised were global issues. It was not just about South Africa, but it was about global issues that affect mostly the developing world or the global South, as many would call it. Part of the issues that were raised was food security. We're finding across the world because of varying issues, conflicts, and economic downturns and struggles. There is a lot of poverty in the world and inequality. And so that was a big thing that was raised. Also, there was a lot of talk around climate change and and just environmental stewardship. So those came, I would say, for me very strong. And then the third one was, the religiously motivated tensions that may exist in the world and how those need to be addressed.
I
There are many other things, but these are the highlights I could share.
Wonderful. I think that as those aspects are discussed at these meetings, then hopefully ideas will be generated and connections will happen, like you're saying, and then collaboration will continue. Um, I think that the G20 Interfaith Forum, the IF20, where we're coming from, is taking a unique stab at these issues, going at the more of the interfaith approach of how can
Mm.
religion help with this? I know as the world becomes increasingly secular and as less people are focused on religion and government, why do you see a possibility for religion to help with some of these global, maybe governmental issues?
Well, it's interesting how as you asked the question, I'm thinking, and I've heard so many people say, well, it's about time for the voice of the interfaith to come to the fore, to be part of the global issues. I mean, at the end of the day, I think let me say it plainly, the inter-religious world has been involved in doing good for centuries. If you look in the world and you count how many hours, volunteers who are from religious organizations are putting in to love, to lift, to care for those that are in need in the world, it's a lot. Also, if you look at our story in Africa, many of the schools, clinics, hospitals were began by churches. That's our history. And so because of that, because of the impact that people of faith have had in the world in terms of doing good, we are experienced to be able to share with the world how it can be done. We also are motivated by something that's much higher. We believe that everyone is our brother and sister, and so we feel a kinship, but also we feel a great responsibility to help those in need. And this is not only a Christian thing, but also other religions. In each of them, you will find there's something that they teach that motivates their people to do good, to make a difference in the lives of others, and to love their neighbors. For me, that's a special thing. And so we should have been part of the we should have been part of the equation or the conversation centuries ago, because we are more experienced. We do it with pure intentions, and we really can make a difference in the world in terms of doing good.
Yes, I agree with that. And I've seen that in the my own local church congregation that yeah, good things happen when people of faith come together, especially when organizations of faith come together, then even more good comes from that. I just wanted to talk about the title of the annual forum that will be happening in Cape Town in August. I know that included in the title is the word Ubuntu. And I would just love if you could explain to me and the listeners what that word is and why that made it in the title of the forum.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ubuntu is I would say it's a state of being. It's a very powerful philosophy in Africa. What it's about really is that I am because we are. That's what it means. Some people, depending on the language, will call it something different, but it means the exact same thing. It's really about highlighting the interconnectedness of people. You cannot be who you need to be, Stuart, without the other. We need each other. And so we felt that in this world that we're living in, we need to teach the world as Africa how it's done. We need to teach the world, what we believe. And, the world is fast becoming individualistic. And so, and people are kind of in close to themselves and their little communities. But, you don't exist in isolation. No one is an island. And so with this philosophy, what we are really trying to do is to appeal to the world that they need to think beyond themselves. They need to think about the people around them. They need to, pay attention. They need to, not leave anyone behind in doing good or helping those around them.
Thank you for explaining that significant word, Ubuntu. I am because we are. I also like how you touched on the importance of leaving no one behind. The IF20 has always had a focus on the most vulnerable, those who really need extra assistance. And I'm excited for how to see how South Africa, like you said, will teach us how to have that unity and that interconnectedness and to help and serve others. Thank you. I just wanted to quickly mention to our listeners that if you're wondering how to get involved with this, if you go to our website, we often have blogs, articles coming out about Ubuntu and about this idea and about how we're preparing for the annual forum in August. In terms of the meeting itself in August, we typically have recordings of the meetings that you can watch. And so more information will be sent out about that. And so, did you have anything you wanted to add, Sandile, about how
Yeah.
listeners can get involved or?
Well, I think it's important to say too that the G20 presidency coming to South Africa, right, is the first time ever that an African country has hosted a G20 summit. It's never happened before. And it's also interesting that Brazil handed over to South Africa.
Yeah.
So a lot of the matters that Brazil highlighted are things that are important to us too here in Africa. But I think more than that, I think it's critical to realize that um, all different voices from all around the world need to be heard, and there is beauty and there's wisdom in bringing everyone to the table. And so, with the IF20 forum that's happening in August, we are looking forward to inviting the world or welcoming the world as they come to Cape Town, where we'll have this amazing forum. We hope that if you have been invited, that you accept the invitation, that you come. I promise you, you're going to fall in love with the country, the people, the food immediately within the first day. That's just amazing, how amazing it is. And those that are going to watch online, you will. I would say equally, you will have an amazing experience as you learn about the cultures, the people, and the nuances that we have here. We're so rich in diversity here in Africa, and we are just a melting pot of various cultures and languages. There's lots of people here and that can teach each other so many different things. So I'm just inviting everyone to come through and to follow us and to listen to what we come up with from this year. And I think most importantly, I would say, Stuart, it's just one event, right? It's not just about the event only. It's about the good that each of us can do throughout the year, every day.
Yeah.
Whenever we see someone in need, whenever we need to raise a voice to defend another person, or we need to be a peacemaker, it's our opportunity to do that. We don't need a conference to do that. Of course, the forum is such a great platform because we remind each other, we uplift each other, we inspire each other. But I'll say throughout the year, I appeal to my friends here, everybody, to do good, to be an example, and to do all that you can to promote harmony and to promote religious freedom and to look after those that are most vulnerable in society because they need us.
Thank you. Thank you for that reminder that this is an event where a lot of leaders and um, religious actors are coming together. Uh, but really, what they're talking about includes things that can be applied in our lives on the daily. So thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Sandile. I learned a lot from you about this organization, from your perspective, and from your example. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of the G20 Interfaith Forum podcast.
The podcast provides information and discussions on the G20 Interfaith Forum, but the views expressed are those of the individuals involved and not necessarily the official stance of the forum.
The content is for general informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice or expert recommendations. Listeners should exercise personal responsibility, seek professional guidance, and conduct further research when making decisions based on the podcast.
The information shared may not always reflect the most current developments, and external links or resources are provided for additional information but are not endorsed or controlled by the podcast.
By listening to the podcast, listeners acknowledge and accept these disclaimers. Please be aware that the content of this podcast may be subject to copyright. Unauthorized copy, distribution, and reproduction of any part of the podcast is prohibited.